Hello, everybody. My name is Richard Vigorelli, and this is Vigorelli Institute. I've been watching a lot of comic book stuff lately, namely Invincible. Um, I've actually watched every single episode that has been released, including the Adam Eve spinoff, and I actually do enjoy the series, even though it's Amazon and, well, stuff. So I have not read the comics on this. I have not read a lot of comics. Sorry. Still a bit of a normie. But as you know, if you've been watching my channel for a while, I am a fan of the Rippaverse. I've watched and I own quite a few DC animated movies, and also the live action ones, like, Batman from 1989 is one of my favorite movies of all time. And I was thinking, I was talking it over with a friend of mine, and, living in a comic book universe, that would be hell. I would not want this. This would not be a good thing, and I'll explain why. But before I do that, please like, subscribe, leave a comment. Tell me if I'm an idiot. By all means, please do. Also, you can find me on Twitter. Handle is in the description. Now, let's get to it, shall we? So, the probability of you being superpowered in one of these universes is pretty low, which means you are the human equivalent of an ant. You're just a really, really big ant that's really squishy. So you have to fend off mutagenic viruses, mind control, whether it be magical, power-based, technological, or biological from some kind of alien organism that latches onto you and is using you as a meat puppet. You will also have to fend off alien invasions, demonic invasions, some psycho that has some kind of death ray or wonderful piece of technology that's essentially magic, breaks the laws of physics, and wants to rule the world. Also, there's the occasional psycho team that wants to take over the world and turn you into their little slave. And just random battles. See, I got to thinking about this because in one of the most recent episodes, two of the most recent episodes of Invincible, as I'm recording this, some crazy dude that's able to open up portals to other versions of history brings a bunch of Invincibles to the prime universe that we are watching. And they go on a rampage, destroy a bunch of cities, kill a bunch of people, and just wreak general havoc. All but 7 of them get taken out. There's probably 24 to start off with. Okay? Well, this guy, they've served their purpose, so he maroons them on this desolate desert world, call it a day. Okay? Well, as they're cleaning stuff up, another psycho appears, this time from his dad's home planet of Daxam, is it? Yes. This guy is built like a brick outhouse and has pretty much the personality that would give your average sociopath pause. Okay? And he, takes our dear boy out for a nice little rampage, takes out his girlfriend, takes him out almost, destroys thousands of people, wrecks a bunch of cities, and he's having a grand old time. Okay? They barely beat him. So, that was basically 5 minutes later. Yeah. This would suck. I'm not sure what would happen with culture, and it also kind of depends on old history. Okay? Now, if superpowers originate deep in the past, then we have a foundation for, gods, demigods, super strong individuals, etc. Okay? That's interesting, and then, they just fade away. If they come up afterwards, or if there's more of them, then history takes another turn. Okay, so let's say they start popping up in ancient history. We've got nations full of these super-powered individuals that can do just about anything. Not only are they demigods, but they can kind of rule over things. So, if they can take over the entire planet, why wouldn't they? Okay? Additionally, if that is the case, then the seminal moments in history that caused certain nations to form, certain religions to form, wouldn't exist because the individuals to do them would A, be much more powerful, or B, not even exist. Not only that, let's say they did exist, the stuff going on because of superpowered dudes completely overshadows everything that they're doing. Okay? So, oh, yeah, that's great. You've got this wonderful philosophy. That's awesome. He can lift a building. Okay? So, we have all of that stuff going on, but so what we call a nation state would not exist if those superpowered individuals happened in ancient history. Now, if they happened closer to modern history, after the concept of the nation state comes into existence, let's say that us tinkering with science produces them, or what have you, then the nation states as we conceivably know them would still exist, but their behavior would be totally different. It would be a lot more like the boys, okay? That universe where you have superpowered individuals and they are celebrities, okay? Your favorite movie star, your favorite musician, band, all of that, completely overshadowed by dude can run as fast as light, okay, etc. So religion would also shift. There would be two main groups of people. Group number one would be, wow, these people are amazing. Um, we need to follow them, pay attention to them because they're better than us. Then the other group would say, are you kidding me? We need to do everything we can to oppose them. These are not good people, okay? They can harm us, and they can do it very easily, okay? To which there will be an extremist group form out of either of these. The extremist group of the first, who loves them, will actually come to worship them and create a religion, at least one, surrounding these individuals. Okay? Which, fair enough. The other group, their extremist group, they will become ever more aggressive towards these superpowered individuals. They will come up with technology in order to circumvent the superpowers. They will do everything in their mental capacity to break these people down. There will be an arms race, and eventually the technology will progress far enough that essentially these superpowers will be nullified. Might take a little while, but we'll see. Okay? So, with events, invasions, so forth, people are going to get into the mode of complete desensitization. Okay? Kind of similar to what happened in '02. Right after the fall of the towers, we had a bunch of other stuff happen, and nobody cared. Okay, because we were so, at least here in the U.S., we were so mentally exhausted from hearing about 9/11 24/7 for like the last 2 weeks that a bunch of other stuff happened, and we're like, and? So imagine every couple of months there's an alien invasion, there's a super plague, there's a bunch of other stuff that happens. Eventually people quit caring. Okay? And there's actually precedence in that, in the way our brains are built, that a new stimulation, no matter what it is, will be regarded in a heightened fashion. It will continue to be regarded in a heightened fashion until that stimulation becomes predictable, in which case it stops being regarded. Eventually it drops down to a point to where you don't even regard it at all, like you barely even notice it. For example, you start carrying a given item on your person, okay? You're going to feel the weight of that item. It's going to change the way you walk, the way you move, etc., etc., etc. Then eventually down the line you forget it's even there, okay? And it's actually the lack of the item that you will notice. For example, a lot of people, when they put on their first wedding ring, it feels heavy, strange. There's something there, and they play with it. Then, they stop playing with it, and they get used to it and all of that. Then they take it off, set it to the side, and they feel naked. Same idea. Okay? So, with all of these events, now let's say many of these events are existential, okay? Meaning, there is a significant loss of life, and no matter what we do, these events are going to persist. So, if one guy flying through the air gets hit and plummets through a building, turns that building into rubble, why am I building more skyscrapers? That's dumb. So what will happen is, if we want to build towers reaching up to the sky, those towers are going to get stronger. They will be built in such a fashion and out of such materials so that a superpowered individual hitting it will not pass through it, or if he does, the building doesn't fail. Okay? Otherwise, what we're going to do, we're going to build stuff underground. Civilians will live underground. And we will that way, if something happens, it's not a big deal. Okay? Unless, they pile drive into the earth and come into the bunkers and so forth. Otherwise, the surface world will be pretty much incidental. Okay? It just kind of depends on the severity of it. Now, let's say that only major cities are being affected. So what's going to happen is those cities are either going to go underground, or we're going to abandon them, or humanity is going to spread out, and they'll notice that only certain city levels will get hit. So what they'll do is they'll build like a little bit of above ground, and then the rest of the stuff will be below, and they might also institute a population cap. Okay? Which, that's interesting. That could run into some ethical issues, don't you think? Also some moral ones as well. But that's just me. So, living in the Invincible universe, living in the Rippaverse, living in DC, Marvel, stuff like that. So many others. There was one show. I can't remember what it was, but it was based on comics. And they had a guy called Hardcase. He was a movie star turned superhero. Or a superhero turned movie star. I forget. If you know the name of it, let me know. It was a cartoon back in the late 90s. Mid-90s. I watched it a little bit. It was kind of neat. They had a kid who could turn into this big muscle-bound thing by uttering a password, but instead of it being, electrical and magical, it was slime. Yeah, I'll give you one idea who that's based off of. Anyway, so that's just my thoughts. Like I said, subscribe, leave a comment. Follow me on Twitter. Handle is in the description. Also, if you could help me out, visit my website, Vim and Vigorelli. Link is in the description. I've got books, merchandise, other stuff there. And I will be back later with something else. You take care. Bye-bye.